How do you do, fellow kids? That's right, we're talking a monumental children's book today. Isn't that amazing? I don't think I've ever actively on any single platform I do content on have talked about Judy Blume or any of her work. Why would I? I know my audience, I know what I do, but I had to talk about this movie, which is based on her best-selling novel, one of the most influential, important novels ever made in the history of books. Are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. That's right. It took them a few years, a couple years, a long ass time to make this into a movie. Which I guess makes sense. We're in like a weird era where like there's no real market for this, and when everything's kind of ripping on what this book did, what do you really have to say? Either way, we finally live in a world where this is turned into a movie, and it's from Kelly Freeman Craig, one of my favorite directors of the past few years. The Edge of 17 is such a monumental movie, I think, for an entire generation, where you're just seeing like the influence of how like you live in like this postmodern time and you don't know what to do with yourself when you're a young person. So her coming on to do Are You There, God? It's Me, Margaret makes a lot of sense. That movie's influential in a lot of ways. This book is influential. It's a great pairing. This is a great movie. A perfect movie, I will say. Every single scene that happens in this film and every single time someone's on screen doing something cool, I'm having an absolute blast. There is something so universal about this experience, but so fundamentally female that it does make it very interesting. Like, as a man in his 20s who tries to watch a lot of content and understand all these different angles and these views, when you have a piece of content that is solely aimed at this young adolescent woman coming of age in an era where these things are frowned upon, in an era where these things are still not talked about openly, it just makes for a very interesting piece of content. And you just start to view it as like, wow, there's a lot here that from my perspective I don't understand, but if I was a woman and I knew these things growing up, it's shedding light on them in a very positive, respectful, and humorous way, which is exactly what it should be doing. That's the thing I love about this. My audience that I saw this in an early screening, primarily older women who knew this experience, not a lot of teenagers, which I get it. This isn't like a movie you'd want to go see with your friends, but if you're like 18 to 40 to 50 older, you know this generation, you know what happened in these experiences. It's pretty exciting in that way. It's a very interesting premise. We are following a young woman who is forced to move from her nice, cozy home into New Jersey, and she doesn't know what to do with herself. How is she going to make friends? How is she going to talk to the boys she likes? All while she is blossoming into a beautiful young woman. These certain things that come with that, the certain use of female products and that kind of stuff. I'm wondering like how open I should talk about this. I don't know what like the demographic for this video is going to be with me talking about it as like a 20-year-old male. But the things it talks about, like needing a training bra, like getting your first period, those types of things are very are handled with respect, I should say. They are given brevity, and it's like, this is an important moment. We also know we can have fun with it and watch as these people grow up and learn these things. It's well done and executed perfectly. The fact that a coming of age story can exist in this generation while still maintaining like its universalness is really impressive. It's hard to accurately capture a movie about growing up in like the 2020s because there's just so much influence and data coming at you from every angle. So when we could go back in time, tell a story of like a young woman and have that experience still translate to today's kids, it's very impressive to see, and it just makes you smile that this subject matter can be talked about in a movie being released in theaters, because there is still like some form of controversy about this type of story being told, which is insane because it's an important story to be told, and it's something that should be spoken about openly and positively, and it's doing that well. Just seeing a coming of age movie in theaters, which is not something we've had for a long time, like a full-on one where you can go see it and learn a lesson, like you're gonna be okay, you're gonna figure this out. Nobody is fully developed at any given time. It takes patience and practice and understanding to realize what's gonna come from it. It does it all beautifully and wonderfully, and it's handled with a beautiful script. I absolutely adore the script to this movie. Every single beat works fine. You are laughing at every joke. You are cringing at every silly moment. When the kids are acting like kids, trying to think that they're adults, it's very funny and cute, and you're just buying every second of it. A lot of that does come down to Abby Ryder Forston, who is surprisingly capable of holding her own in a big lead like this. She has worked with big actors before and has always been like the young child, but now she is of that right age where she is growing up in this industry where you're seeing her skills fully develop as an actor, and she is capable of delivering some great moments. There is so much humor in her moments, the subtle, quiet spots where she's just like, this boy is kind of cute. I don't know how to feel in this moment. I'm kind of jealous of my friends. Somebody lied to me. I feel betrayed and hurt and everything. It leads into some really beautiful, powerful, impactful things with her. And it's great to see that a young actor at this age is capable of delivering those earnestly, effectively, powerfully, in a way that makes sense. I really dig it, and she did really good. I think she held her own as good as some of the best coming-of-age stories out there. And having a young actor of this generation be able to do that is very impressive. Because again, you have all that data and influence coming in all these different ways. It could get bogged down where it's like just something simple could get lost in translation, but it doesn't here. She's able to hold her own in a very powerful and impactful way. I dig it. And of course, I'm an older man, and there's a couple of performances that stick out with me as the things I really love. Kathy Bates is just full-on grandma mode here, and I get it. She is just the universal grandma now. Everybody knows this woman. Everybody has this woman in their family, and she is just great at delivering that. When her granddaughter shows interest in what she wants to do, it's like, yes, let's go do it. When she's just like having fun and she's comfortable making these choices, you love it and you live for it. And you're here for it 100%. But my favorite performance of the movie, and what might be my favorite performance of the year, is wholeheartedly Rachel McAdams. I can't explain it, but every single scene she is in where it's like, this is a struggling artist making these big decisions where she has to be the suburban mom now, doesn't want to force anything on her kids, but she has like this frantic kind of just like playful energy of just like, okay, I'm standing in a room, my hair's kind of frazzled, I'm not dressed perfectly, my hands are in my pockets, like, okay, what am I doing now? That need to fit in with this new society you're a part of, with like that creative expression being unfulfilled. It's a perfect blend of what I think a lot of women were experiencing at this time, especially now you're coming into motherhood, trying to teach this daughter the things you weren't taught perfectly. It is really well done, and she delivers it great. Her subtle changes in voice and posture when she's doing certain things. I love a frazzled woman who's just like, okay, I'm confident, I know what I'm doing, but I'm not having a great time with this. Just looks gorgeous in everything she's doing, just like casual denim jeans that are just so like washed of color. I love her. I love this performance, and it's gonna just be something I think about forever. Just seeing her just like standing in a room with no couches, just like, I guess I gotta paint now. It's so fun, and she's carrying it so well and so beautiful. I'm just blown away. Every single scene where she's just like, pulling her hair back with her hand, or she's just standing in a room, not sure what to do, how to say the right thing. It's really great, and I'm here for it. And Benny Safdie shows up for a minute. I'm like, okay, dude, go off for a minute, dude. I guess he's like the least threatening dude you could have for a movie like this, where you want like the dad to be kind of like nebbish and silly. He's not that intimidating, so I get it, and it makes for some great connection. He has great chemistry with McAdams. It's all fun, and we're having a good time. And then all of the friends are exciting, all of their parents are exciting, just like the quiet, subtle things of a person growing up. How do you talk to boys? How do you show you like someone without being fully like committing to that? Why do these kids, when they're young in classrooms, try to look cool and suave? There's like one kid in the school who's like this little like cool playboy kind of guy. He's got like this slick back hair. He's like, yo, what's up? Let's do it. I love that because I know that kid. I was that kid. I get it. It's so fun. And just the way you and your friends just talk about like your crushes and weird stuff like that, like the private secret meetings only you have. It does that authentically for the period it's taking place in, while making it feel like that is what's being said now to the young generation. That just works so well. And look, everything behind the scenes is fantastic. The costume and production design is really good. The camera work is really good. It is just kind of easy, but what are we doing? It's a coming-of-age story. We don't have to do crazy camera movements or show certain dynamic angles. We're just here to see these characters react, and we do that a lot. Again, a great script. The lighting is great. Everything works. I can't remember a time I had watching a coming-of-age movie where I'm like, this is a really good experience that feels authentic and something that should be seen in the big screen. That's awesome. And the fact that this is primarily aimed at a female demographic is just exciting to see happen in the theaters. That's really cool. It's a really good movie. If you are hesitant to see it, I can promise you now, it's not what you're thinking. It is just like a really smart comedy, really intense, and every side character, every woman of every generation, the child, the mother, and the grandmother, you see the dynamic of how they feel and how they love and how they learn in this time period, and it's just great and wholesome. We don't do it like this enough anymore. It's just a quiet, subtle coming-of-age story that is playing in theaters. It's not a 10-episode limited series going to a streaming service. It's in theaters with a really good director who made something special, and I want more things like this. If this is what it takes to get us going again and making some of these adaptations smarter and wholesome, let's do it. Not everything needs to go to streaming. Sometimes it works better in a theater, like this movie does. So, are you there, God? It's me, Margaret. I am going to give a 10 out of 10. I mean it. It's a really solid movie, and you should check it out. So thank you all for watching this review. Be sure to like and subscribe to the channel. As always, you can check me out on Instagram, TikTok, and Twitter. And as always, I will catch you in the next one. Have fun. Stay safe. Good luck.